p.m. We know that Mr. Ferlazzo sent a text message to his sister Nicole inside the Airbnb at 9:39 p.m. Hey, we're gonna take the night to rest, smiley face. You still drink coffee? We'll see you tomorrow morning. Shortly after, Emily's last location data from her Facebook is logged as 10:14 p.m. Instead of going inside and spending time with his sister, Mr. Ferlazzo and Emily argued. They argued because Mr. Ferlazzo had brought Emily on their one-year anniversary to the very same condo complex that his ex-wife lived. They argued because Mr. Ferlazzo seemed to believe that he didn't have any obligations to be monogamous with his wife, be faithful to her, and she told him she was done. She told him she did not want to be with him, that she could not do it anymore, and that she wanted to leave. And 1 minute after midnight, Mr. Ferlazzo turns off his phone. Done arguing, Emily laid down in bed while Mr. Ferlazzo stayed up and stewed. He became enraged at Emily while she lay in bed scrolling on her phone with her head on her pillow. Mr. Ferlazzo sat on the couch thinking, planning. For what he told police was 5 to 10 minutes. For at least 5 minutes, Mr. Ferlazzo sits on the couch and stews. By this time, Mr. Ferlazzo has a plan. He's made a decision. He has decided that he needs to stop her, that she is not leaving him.
I don't even know. I just know that I sat down and was. I don't know, something inside my head, just I remember feeling really warm, and I remember feeling blurry, and I don't know. Something inside me said enough is enough.
Something inside of him said, enough is enough. But instead of walking away from Emily, going into his sister's Airbnb, out of the van, instead he executes his plan. He got up from the couch, he went to the closet, he grabbed this Glock 19 with this silencer. He walked over to the bed. Emily's head was resting on this pillow. He picked up this throw pillow from the couch. He jumped onto the bed. He put this throw pillow over her face, and he shot her once and twice, directly into the left side of her head, killing her. Both of those bullets exited her skull on the right side of her head and came to rest inside the very pillow that her head was laying on.
When you jumped on her, did she say anything to you?
Something are you fucking kidding me? You gotta be fucking kidding me.
And then, what was her reaction to you?
It was just like that. Okay. I just jumped on her. She said, "Are you kidding me? You gotta be fucking kidding me." Something like that.
Did she try to fight you or anything like that? And how long did you have to take? Was it between when you jumped on her and when you fired the first shot? And how about the second shot? So I don't want to put words in your mouth or anything. I'm just trying to understand. So he essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, you jumped on her and bang bang like that. Is that how it happened?
And I think you shook your head no, but when Seth asked you if she tried to put up a fight, did you say yes or no? There was no fight? Okay.
The evidence presented in this trial shows that Emily posed no threat to Mr. Ferlazzo. And in fact, his story that she had a gun was directly contradicted by the fact that both of the pistols were his. Emily did not have a gun. His story that he remembers Emily's body falling after he killed her is directly contradicted by the physical and forensic evidence. Dr. Shapiro told you that her head was resting on something when she was killed. And immediately after killing her, rather than calling 911, any police agency, his ex-wife, or his sister, who was just yards away from him, Mr. Ferlazzo instead shuts off Emily's phone because, in his words, quote, he wasn't going to use it and she wasn't going to use it. After he shut off her phone, Mr. Ferlazzo puts a Market Basket shopping bag over Emily's head, tied a garbage bag around her neck, used his 6-foot, 200-pound body to carry her 5'1", 130-pound body into the shower. He bagged up this bloody pillow, bagged up this red throw pillow. He bagged up this bloody pillowcase, this bloody sheet. He then put her shoes, her glasses, her wallet, and her phone in a plastic grocery bag, but was careful to keep her ID. He put new sheets, a new blanket, and new pillows on the bed, and he turns his phone back on at 1:35 a.m. Then he turns it off at 2:10 and back on at 3:39 a.m. Then he gets back in the very bed he just killed his wife in. And just a few hours later at 7:48 a.m., while his wife's body is in his shower, he texts his sister, "I can't sleep. Any interest in going for breakfast?" And even makes a recommendation on where to go. "Maxie's has really good breakfast, exclamation point. I just French pressed some coffee. Have you had coffee yet?" And off they go to Maxie's, where Mr. Ferlazzo has eggs and a mimosa. Then he drives his van from Bolton to St. Albans, parks the van on the property of his best friend. And rather than telling them that Emily's in the van, that he killed her, that he had to kill her, he tells them she took off. And then he sets up shop and starts to give his sister a tattoo. But not before sending Emily's phone a text message. "Whatever, exclamation point and angry face. I'm gonna spend time with Nikki while I can, exclamation point. Call me." And 3 hours later, he finishes his sister's tattoo. And an hour after that, he goes out to eat again, this time at Twig's, a gastropub in St. Albans. He eats dinner, he has drinks, and he gets a ride back to the Lang residence, and he again sleeps in the van with Emily's body still in the shower. And the next day, he goes out to Burlington with his sister, he gets coffee, and again, he goes out to eat. And again, he says nothing to Nicole about what he did to Emily. And after gallivanting around downtown, he heads back to St. Albans, and on his way, he stops at Hannaford to buy bleach. Because despite him continuing with his life as if nothing has happened, he does have a mess to clean up. That night, he hangs out with friends around a campfire. 2 of his best friends and an off-duty police officer. He engages in small talk. Doesn't mention Emily once. Doesn't even mention that he has a wife, as if she just doesn't exist. You've heard testimony that the campfire wraps up around midnight when Mr. Ferlazzo gets back into the van, and while Emily's body lays feet away from him, he sends her phone another text message. The same phone that he turned off after killing her because she wasn't going to need it, and the same phone he threw away somewhere between Bolton and St. Albans. "This is far enough, exclamation point, exclamation point. Get your ass home, exclamation point. I gotta go back to New Hampshire, are you coming back?" And amongst all of these activities, he decides that he needs to make her body easier to carry, easier to move, and easier to discard. Mr. Ferlazzo uses this serrated saw and dismembers her arms, her legs, her feet, and her head. He dismembers them from her torso. The same torso, absolutely riddled with stab wounds, including one striking her heart. 3 different knives had her DNA on them. At least 3 different knives were used to stab her heart 1 time, her abdomen 8 times, and her back 9 times. Then he puts each piece of her body in garbage bags. And on Monday morning, before leaving for New Hampshire to get his Jeep, which he told you he needed in order to bury Emily's body in the woods, he just can't help himself. Knowing full well exactly where she is and what he has done to her, he texts her phone one last time. "You're an asshole. I don't deserve this shit. You're an asshole. I don't deserve this shit." Ms. Adams told you in the state's opening statement that this case and this crime is about ego, Mr. Ferlazzo's ego, and Mr. Ferlazzo's nearly 42-year-old ego being unable to accept his 22-year-old wife disrespecting him. That ego believed it was his right to cheat on Emily, to have relationships with other women, whether she liked it or not. That same ego believed it was his right to follow Emily one day when she wore her hair a different way and he didn't think she was being truthful to him. That ego was so inflated that even after shooting his wife in the head 2 times, stabbing and dismembering her body, bagging her up, and discarding her like trash, he didn't tell his sister because he didn't want to make a bad impression with her boyfriend. So inflated that he didn't tell his sister because he'd promised not to, quote, dump his drama on her. He considered killing his wife drama. An ego so inflated that after killing her, taking her life because he didn't like the things she was saying to him, because she didn't want to be with him anymore, he calls her an asshole. He tells her that he doesn't deserve this. The state submits that it is Emily, and only Emily, that did not deserve this. All of the credible evidence presented by the state during this trial, the witness statements, the physical evidence, the forensic evidence, was checked and verified. The details of her death, the details of the weekend of the dismemberment, the trip back to New Hampshire was all corroborated, checked, verified, proven beyond a reasonable doubt. We are confident that you will find that Mr. Ferlazzo killed Emily and that that killing was unlawful. There was no legal justification for it. It was willful. It was intentional, it was deliberate, and it was premeditated. And the state requests that you find him guilty of first-degree murder.
Ms. Jantz.
Thank you, Judge.